ANC Youth League in Limpopo is calling for those implicated in the VBS scandal to resign. It says they must not be allowed to taint the party's election campaign. The provincial government today said it will work towards reviving the bank to ensure that people get their money back. For more on this, we're joined now by eNCA reporter Samkele Maseko, who is in Polokwane and, of course, attended that briefing that was held earlier by the Premier of the province, Stan Matabate. Now, Samkele, the ANC chairperson in the province saying, well, we have no control over officials, that because of a request made by the top 6 officials of the party to leave that category of people alone. Tell us why things are like that.
Well, what we do know from Premier Stanley Matabata in his cap as the ANC's provincial chairperson in the province of Limpopo, he says that they were instructed by the ANC's office bearers, which would be the top 6, to not deal with their colleagues in the top 5, which would be Florence Radzelani, the deputy chairperson of the ANC in the province, and Denim Sizo, the provincial treasurer, saying that that is going to be dealt with by the ANC's top leadership in the form of the top 6 after they've received a comprehensive report from the Integrity Commissions chaired by George Mashamba, the chairperson of the ANC's Integrity Commission. They have to compile a comprehensive report which will be sent to the ANC's NWC next week, Monday, which will further be sent to the ANC's next NEC meeting, which should be around December, if not January, which will further deliberate on the issues of VBS and then take a decision there, and then they will instruct the ANC's top 5 officials in the Limpopo province on how to deal with this matter pertaining to Florence Radzelani, the deputy chairperson, and Denim Sizo, the treasurer. But away from the ANC's aspect of dealing with this matter, you've got a provincial government in which Stan Matabata is the premier of, which is also investigating and taking action on all the various municipal officials that have invested monies into VBS, saying that those municipal managers, those chief financial officers who acted and deposited money into VBS, which is against the Municipal Financial Act, which is set to be in place, must face accountability. They must be held accountable. Some Premier Stan Matabata is saying they've been fired, and some have been given notices of intention of suspension.
Now, we're talking about 10 municipalities that apparently were involved in these illegal activities. We're talking about 1.2 billion in total taxpayers' money that was invested in inverted commas into the whole VBS thing. Now, do we know what the timelines are like and how many people exactly are we talking about here?
At this point in time, it's not yet clear how many people we are talking about here, but what we do know is that at this point in time, there are several CFOs and municipal managers who have been given notices of intention to suspend. Some have already been given their notices of suspension letters by the various municipalities. There are some who are meeting this week in special council meetings whom will be passing those resolutions to suspend CFOs and municipal managers. There is also a memo that has been sent out to the MEC of Kokta, Jerindo, to investigate how many municipalities have been affected by this, how many of them are not financially stable and afloat to be able to sustain and give services to the people, which they will then be placed under administration. That report will be tabled in the next ESCO meeting by the MEC of Kokta, Jerindo, upon instruction by the Premier of the province, Stanley Matabata. But there is also the final report, which is being awaited by the Premier and the EXCO of Limpopo province, which is an external investigation on how many officials and prominent politicians were involved in instructing municipal officials and chief financial officers of municipalities to invest monies into VBS, and that is expected to be on the Premier's desk by the end of this month, November, and that is when the Premier will then act upon political figures such as mayors, such as Florence Radzelani, who have been implicated in this investigation. investigation or looting of about 2.2 billion rands, which is about 1.2 billion rands of taxpayers' monies of municipalities, which has been looted, some of which has been able to be recouped from VBS and some of which has not been able to be recouped from this bank that has been looted of 2.2 billion rands. So it looks as if political figures will start to have their heads rolling by the end of November, but those who are bureaucrats and municipal officials and such as municipal managers and chief financial officers, their heads are starting to roll in Limpopo at this point in time, in the words of Premier Stanley Chupu Matabat.
Now, from what we heard the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank saying in Parliament today, anyone is free to take over VBS, although he wouldn't advise that. What did the Premier say about their call for VBS Bank not to be shut down?
Well, Vuyo, you've got to understand that organizations or political formations, particularly who perceive or portray themselves to be left-leaning or multi-class organizations, whether it be the Economic Freedom Fighters or the ANC, they've got a stern and firm view that VBS must be saved. You've got an ANC in the province through its Provincial Executive Committee, which has a resolution that with all and sundry, with everything that has happened, VBS must be saved despite the negative controversy that is surrounding him. So Premier Chupu Matabat is following in the footsteps of the ANC's PEC resolution that with everything that's been said and done, VBS must be saved. We also have an ANC NEC, which is also echoing the same sentiments that VBS must be saved, which coincides with the ANC's 54th National Conference resolution that there must be a state-owned bank. You've got the likes of Itala Bank that is operating in KwaZulu-Natal. You've got the ANC PEC here in Limpopo that's saying that maybe we must look at having VBS operating in the form of Itala Bank, which is operating currently in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So his final words are that VBS must be saved. They are in intense negotiations to make sure that this happens. We've also got the MEC of Finance and Treasury in the province in the form of Rob Toyley, who is echoing the same sentiments as the Premier of the province. You've also got the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, in the medium-term budget speech saying he's not so sure anymore of whether a VBS should be saved or not be saved, or whether a state bank should be formed at all. So you've got these mixed talks and that are currently ongoing in the government of the ANC in Limpopo and at a national level.
So we're going to leave it for now. Samkele Maseko, who is, of course, in Limpopo, and he attended that briefing that was held